What is good, Relentless Nation? What's crack-a-lackin'? Alrighty, guys. Principal T-Mac in the house. Just doing a little reflecting here on this Thursday evening before heading out. And shoot, man, when I first became an administrator, this is just real talk right here, man. Man, like, I mean, not only was it difficult, but man, I remember those first 6 months, dude. Man, I mean, like, I was probably like, you know what, man, I think I want to try to maybe find like some other job. Like maybe that this was now what I was called to do. Like I knew I was called to teach, to be in education, to have an impact on kids. But then when it came to like being an administrator, like it just blew up my world. And my principal at that time, who is my good friend, and I've told this story many times to my own colleagues and in front of like other presentations, and so like he's given me permission to share things like this. And so but you know, like he was molding me to be an administrator that I wasn't really cut out to be. And what I mean by that, it wasn't in line with what my strengths brought to the table. And so, you know, if you've been watching my videos, you probably are getting to know my personality, how I communicate and all that. And so you can imagine if there was if I was being trained to be more of a disciplinarian, more of an affirmative, like just always like just very stern and not smiling. And those are the kind of things like I was being trained to do. It's just, hey, like I need to kick back on all of the smiling and I got to come out more of a firm stance right there. And so, you know, like as a new administrator, like I'm doing everything I can, right? Like as an assistant principal, like I'm trying to follow my leader's lead and carry out that vision, but it was just like tearing me up inside. And I knew that I was trying to learn this role, so I'm giving it like all I got. And I'd probably say within 6 months, man, I was like real talk, dude. Like I'm like on the websites, like looking up, like okay, what are some other jobs I can do? Like those are on like those low days where you're like, okay, maybe I should do something else, go back and teach and all that. And I had this awesome conversation with my life coach. And in that conversation, really what was happening is that I discovered in that I wasn't doing what made me come alive every day. What was those things in my very fabric, in my DNA, that if I wasn't doing this consistently, I felt like I was just going against the grain. And that was two things. I had stopped connecting with kids because I became more like a disciplinarian, like I was at a secondary level. And so it was more transactional and I wasn't connecting with kids personally like I did when I taught. And then secondly, I wasn't creating. I was just managing a system. And that could be far from what I love to do and what I'm born to do. And that is to create, make things better, and just think outside of that kind of box and not just do it just because that's the way that we've always done it. And after that conversation, that next week, even though nothing changed, but my mindset changed, when I went back that next week, I had a freaking awesome week. I remember calling my coach up and I'm like, dude, I had a legit week. And let me tell you how I connected with kids more purposely and intentionally. And this is how I was able to create more and be creative in my role. And it was amazing. And that day taught me a huge lesson. And this has been something that has sprung me to really to continue to be myself and to be okay with it and to live in that kind of joy. And that is when we can know our strengths, one, two, live those things with intention, our lives become happier, fulfilled. We feel like we are living what we were born to do. And that's how we bring joy into this world and bring joy to others. When we're living out our calling, when we're living out those things that we can lose track of time because it's the very fabric of things that we just love to do. So man, when I'm able to connect with people and when I'm able to create, make things better and not just always do the same thing over and over again, I feel like I'm coming alive. So my encouragement to every one of you guys, be you. Be you authentically, relentlessly, because that is who you were born to be. And to be anything else, it's unthinkable. Let's go, y'all. Peace out.